Did you plug in this part?
Did plug in that part, bitch.
Welcome. Hey, welcome to Radically Honest.
We're scrapping.
It's been a rough morning setting up for this podcast.
Yeah, it's all Gaia's fault. All Gaia's fault.
No, Princess over here needed to not have too much glare because she needed to wear glasses. So we had to reset up the whole thing, which is fine. But we still had glare anyways.
Right. Okay, so surprise.
Surprise, we're together.
Those of you who are listening, we're actually in the same fucking room. It's a rare occurrence, but yes, we are in the same room. So plug for your membership because like people need to see the boobies.
That's right. We're wearing boob shirts today. And so if you want to see the boob shirts, you need to subscribe to Gaia Morissette's special membership club.
Right. Very special.
Very special.
Very special.
All the things. You can see our boobies. Well, not the boobies, the cleavage.
Right. Not full boobage, but lots of cleavage.
But in the
Good
membership,
cleavage.
there is boobs. Actual boobs.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. So what are we going to talk about with our being radically honest, other than the fact that you hate me right now? Because I've been a diva.
I don't hate you. I still love you.
Aww.
Even though you're a diva.
I'm a diva.
That's
good.
okay.
It's okay. I'm okay being a diva.
Yeah. So we just basically, actually, let's talk about that experience.
About being a diva?
No, about our how we handled that potentially very stressful situation this morning. Could have gone sideways if we were two different people.
How did we handle it? I don't know. We just kept moving.
We kept moving, but we said what we were feeling.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Right?
You called me a diva and told me to sit down, bitch, take my glasses off and just fucking get on with it. So, Gaia got into control freak mode and Dana let go. That's how that went.
It's interesting. That's an interesting take on that experience.
That's my story and I'm sticking to it. And I know you're with me as a listener, right? You're listening. You're with me. You feel me. Don't believe anything she says. Nothing. She's a liar.
But see, I don't lie because we're
radically honest.
So how that could have gone differently if we weren't radically honest, in all fairness, is that I could have been very resentful. I could have felt very angry. I could have felt very resentful. I could have been here steam coming out of my ears. And then you would have been like, are you okay? And I would have been like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Fine. Let's get this fucking podcast under me. Right. But if I wasn't, but even that's too honest. Right. Like if you think about how often we don't actually share what we're really feeling because society says we're not supposed to. Right. So that's a rule. Apparently, it's a rule we break on a regular basis. Okay, good. We break on a regular basis. But there's like a whole millions of people that practice this rule. Oh my God. They do. They practice this rule of being crazy people. It's called being polite. That's this category it falls under is politeness.
That's a crazy concept.
Yes. But then what would have happened is I would have been angry this whole time. Yes. And I would have been like something like this and being like, yeah, I'm totally happy. Everything is fine. I'm totally fine. This is just a thing.
Which would have made for a terrible podcast for people, for you listening. Yeah. That would have been horrible to listen to. Yeah. Because part of why people tune in, not just because we're sexy, I think people also tune in.
That is one of the reasons.
That is one of the reasons. That is definitely one of the reasons. But I think also just the fact that, because we have our click, our chemistry, and we genuinely laugh. Yeah. We're not just faking it, right? We're not just putting on a show. This is who we are. Yeah. This is honestly how we interact on a regular basis. So yeah, if we weren't being honest, you can't have that genuine connection, the laughter, the play, and the fun.
And the moving through. So like there was the hiccups this morning. I had feelings. I'm like, sit your fucking ass down. You're a fucking diva. You're like, all right, fine. I'll just sit my fucking ass down. You don't want to sit your fucking ass down because it's not perfect. So it needs to be perfect. But I'm like, I don't fucking care if it's perfect. Sit your fucking ass down. And so we had that exchange, which was real and honest and genuine. And then when we hit live, like when we hit to record, it already moved. We've moved through it.
Yes.
And I think that's the other piece that I wanted to just showcase for our audience is that when you are radically honest with where you're feeling and what you're thinking in the moment, it allows everybody to move through whatever it is quickly. Yeah. I'm not going to be angry at you all day. You're not going to be angry at me all day. Well, not for this anyways. Who knows what else will happen.
Maybe. I don't know.
But we moved through it and now we're on to the next thing.
Exactly.
And so that's what I wanted to showcase for our audience is that there is a lot of benefit to being able to be honest in the moment and radically, not tiptoeing around.
Yeah, and not pretending.
It's
to actually say it, not have judgment of yourself. And it really helps that we both move in this way. So we have that flow. And yeah, we can now move through things very, very quickly, and get back to having fun.
Exactly. Okay. Right. So what are we going to talk about? This was not planned, and we never plan anything. No. So, usually we have a little bit of a chat before we go live, but we had to waste all that time in lighting. So we didn't get it.
Diva. Somebody was a diva.
So what do you want to talk about? You've been on quite the adventure since last week.
Oh my God. Because last time I talked to you, I was in buttfuck Renfrew, Ontario.
That's right.
In this really interesting location. So since then, I have had an epic adventure up in the super sexy Montreal, Quebec, and I have done all kinds of things, most of which we're not going to get into, but maybe we'll share them for the membership.
Exactly.
I can do that too. Although I'm not getting anything off of that,
You could if you used your affiliate link that you have.
Oh yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay. So yes, Montreal, I attended the Montreal Fetish Weekend. Mm-hmm. And we had talked in the last episode, we talked about my starting to kind of look at opening up the dom side, maybe the pro dom. Of course, somebody over here has been like using her influence to push me that way. Not,
it was definitely not the influence of my boobs.
No, we don't go there.
No, so put out. Well, for me, anyway.
For her. There's other people that will disagree with you. Ask the people of Montreal. Okay. Sorry. Getting steamy in here. Okay, so Montreal Fetish Weekend. So I went with the intention of really leaning into the dom side and activating that, that energy, that sexiness, and it was really amazing. I'm sorry, my brain is like spinning in all different directions of all the different crazy stories from Montreal.
Which is too hot and steamy to actually. Very hot and steamy. Yeah, so you're gonna have to wait for membership, and you're probably gonna have to wait until she finishes her book.
Yeah. Yes. And who knows where else I'll put the extra steamy segments.
Yeah. But we'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
So I would like to I would like the audience to learn about for you your evolution in your sexuality. I think that we don't need to go into
it's probably
that's I think the most important piece of being, because it was hot and steamy, but you had to work through a lot of stuff to be able to show up, to be there, to lean in, to make sure that you felt safe, and like there's a lot of pieces in that to like really drop into owning your sexuality, owning your sexy self. So
I think the other thing that I want to share, in setting this up is that like, so what are we talking? 2.5 years ago, I wasn't even having sex.
Yeah.
So this is where, like, just to kind of put it in perspective, it's like where I've gone from a sexless marriage, not having sex. I had shut down all my sex drive. And then you and I started to look into this about 2 years ago. I think it would be 2.5 years ago. I finally started to open that door and really started to heal the pieces and look at, another layer of my sexual trauma, moving those pieces out, embracing it. And then, of course, as I started dating again and started, moving in that way, by the way, my ex and I had an open marriage, just a disclosure on there.
Yeah.
Like, in case you're wondering, I wasn't cheating with it because we're radically honest, right?
Yeah.
So I started opening that door again, and then realized, oh, actually there's some things there with the marriage. And so part of my shutting down my sexuality, shutting down my sex drive, was so that I didn't have to look at the marriage. Fast forward, now separated, in the process of getting divorced. And in leaving that relationship, now I've been starting to really lean into, okay, how do I allow myself to feel pleasure? How do I allow somebody else to pleasure me? And of course, you've seen through the evolution of each time I'm like, this person's like, it's okay, but no, I want better. And I get something better. And then I'm like,
well, and
nope.
I think I just want to take a moment for a second here to say that I want better is different than, it's not so much that you're like, I want better. It's that doesn't serve me.
Yeah.
Right. Because I think that's a really
it
important
is an important, especially energetically. It's like, okay, that was good. And now I see that this piece is missing.
Yeah.
Right. So, I would have, like, I'm trying to think, like, one of the earlier lovers, he was attentive and it was great, but he still had a lot of his own emotional baggage from his relationship, which had ended like 4 years prior. That doesn't work for me because, of course, you and I, we do tons of work. So it's like, okay, it's good, but not all of it. And so then, putting out there of like, okay, so I want somebody who's a good lover and has some of their stuff together.
Yep.
And then, we just keep progressing in that way of saying, oh, what's missing? What else can I ask for? And having that expectation of that there's an abundance and that there are people who move in the same way that I do, in this non-monogamous, open, honest, dealing with their stuff, have their shit together.
Actually, I really want to talk about that because I think that's an important piece around scarcity, right? That scarcity.
It is a scarcity thing.
Around,
like, I need to settle for this person because it's as good as it gets. What if I never find another one? It totally is. It plays into that whole, are you willing to think in terms of abundance?
Yeah. And are you willing to choose what best serves you because it best serves you? And I think that's a big piece around in all capacities of our life, whether that's our relationships, our sex lives, our friendships, our family relationships, our work relationships, our career, all of it. It's like we move from this place that we're only allowed to have so much. And so you just better, because you can't have it all. You're not allowed to have it all. You're not supposed to have it all. There's
like, this is pretty good.
So this is not bad.
Right.
Like I can't tell you how many clients I've heard say, well, my relationship's okay. He's okay. Our relationship's okay.
He's not abusive.
We don't fight.
We're financially really good.
Yeah, it's okay. He's a good father, or she's a good mom, or it's okay because it goes both ways. Like, yes. I've heard it from both of my clients. Right? Is that we stay in relationships because it's just okay. And
thinking that, well, that whole model. Like, I know I bought in on this whole idea of that relationships are hard, and you're going to have to accept some challenges, and it requires compromise, and yes, and not as much as what I had been putting up with.
Yes,
especially now as I'm starting to ask for more of what I want, and of course, in doing that, in these what I will call up levels, I am getting a lot more forthcoming in saying, this is what I want. This is what I expect. And if you're okay with that, then we can proceed.
Which brings us back to our title of our podcast.
Radically honest.
Radically honest.
Yeah.
Without that radically honest thing in the beginning, right? So saying, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is how I move. Are you good? Are you cool? Do you want to come along? If you don't do that, people can't make that decision.
Right.
And so, and the only way you can know that is if you know yourself. So it's about that being radically honest with yourself.
Yep.
And then radically honest with other people that come into your life. And again, we're talking about relationships, intimate relationships, but that applies to every relationship that you have. Every style
Absolutely.
of relationship that you
Absolutely.
have. It's like
Across the board.
Across the board. Otherwise, what happens is that everybody is moving from their own stuff. And we all know we all have stuff. All of us have stuff.
It's okay to have stuff.
Even us, we have a lot of stuff.
I don't know what you're talking about, God.
Own it. Own it.
I am perfect. I'm good. I'm good. It's
So
it's all good. In my world, I am perfect.
yes. But for the purpose of giving permission to our audience.
Oh, really? It's about them?
It is about them.
Oh, I thought it was about me.
No. So do you want to stop lying?
Okay. What was I lying about?
About being perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. We
Perfectly imperfect.
Yes. We all have
We
stuff.
all have stuff. We do.
And it's really important and that we know what our stuff is so that we can allow other people to know what that stuff is. And then they can decide whether they want to hang out with us.
Well, and that's it. It's like when you say, okay, here's where my quirks are. I'm owning it. This is me. This is the things I'm working on. But it becomes an invitation to say, do you want to come along for the ride? Here's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Exactly.
All of it. Because when somebody comes in and they know what they're in for, then they can say yes from a place of full disclosure, full understanding.
Yeah.
There's another word that I'm thinking of, but I can't find it.
But that's crucial.
Yeah.
Right. And even sometimes when you do that, because I practice that, that's how I move all the time. Everybody comes, I give them a disclosure. Like, here's the warning. Here's the content warning that I come with. Don't take me somewhere that you don't expect me, that you expect me to be completely appropriate. That's never.
If saying the word fuck is not going to work, probably best not to take either of us.
Yeah. Except for when I'm around children, I seem to be able to not swear. I've had programming all the years of teaching children to not swear. As soon as a child is in my presence, my vocabulary changes, but I still say things like fart because it makes children giggle and bumps. And it also makes children giggle. I'm still not appropriate. I'm just not X-rated. I'm age appropriate.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily, so don't put me around your children.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what else do you want to talk about from that perspective?
So we did, we need to kind of circle back on the story.
Exactly.
We left them hanging, did this big pause and interruption.
Yes.
Back to the story.
You're in Montreal. Go.
Okay. So I drop into Montreal and I'm set to go to the Montreal Fetish Weekend. And the first thing that comes up for me is embracing this piece around how I dress. So of course, Fetish Weekend, you're looking at, leather gear, like when I'm wearing. If you join the membership, you can see it. I'll send you my affiliate link.
Oh, now she's going to use it.
Yeah. And so that's the very first thing that comes up is, so for me growing up, I ended up with a very strong imprint of wearing something sexy leads to being assaulted.
Yeah.
And that it's not okay to wear something sexy. It's not safe to wear something sexy. And so that first night, oh my goodness, I called Gaia the next day. I was like, I was freaking out. I was so uncomfortable. I'm walking in the street and I'm thinking that I'm not safe. I'm feeling like all of a sudden I had been walking around downtown Montreal by myself up until that point, having a great time.
Yeah.
But as soon as I went and put my sexy corset on
Yeah.
and walked out on the street, all of a sudden, all of these pieces came to the surface.
Yeah.
And I really started to, to feel all of those. So of course we leaned into that the next day, moved that out. And then the rest of the time I was able to go out and be that confident, sexy self, really embracing it, leaning into it. And of course, Montreal is a great city to do that in. Like they just don't even blink an eye.
No.
Like,
oh, look, the Kingsters are out.
it's like, it's another person wearing almost nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. Exactly.
Montreal's great for that.
Yeah. Like, oh, you want to wear a hood walking down the street? Oh, okay.
All right.
Hey, cool.
Have a great day.
Have a great time. It is a good city to explore that. So that was one of the big pieces initially. And then what was next from there? Then I think the next pieces was to really start leaning into the Dom energy. So I was going to the different events and things, and instead of me dropping into, sexy, playful, picking somebody up, taking them home, I was really looking for play partners to top and to activate that piece. So I actually had 4 days with no sex.
It's good for her. So carry on.
She's so mean. 4 whole days. No.
I am in my dungeon.
That's true. So that was really good because I got to play with a few people that allowed me to see that if I'm topping somebody who really enjoys it, right? That they're like loving it, they're getting turned on, then I got more turned on. And so having that contrast, because we got to back it up. I had some people that I tried playing with that were not Kingsters, that were not part of that whole thing. And they weren't really. It was like, I was thinking, oh, maybe I don't like this anymore. And then you said, well, I think you need to find somebody who actually enjoys it. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's try that. So yeah, I found this great little gay guy at the one thing. Oh, he was so cute, just so cute. I give him this big spanking up against the side of the pool. There's a pool, they've turned it into a dance floor. It's so cool. And he's just having such a good time. Later, he tells me that it's like the first time he felt aroused by a woman.
Wow, nice job.
Right?
Nice job.
But it was fun. Like it reactivated that piece of where I could lean into just being playful. It's sensual, it's sexual, but at the same time, I wasn't engaging with sex. I didn't even kiss him. It's like, it just was this beautiful moment. I'm moving on. And then another fellow that I also topped it the other night, again, the same thing, just really leaning into that experience of seeing where I could take somebody through these tools, through the spanking, through, and really leaning into it and what that activated for me. So of course, since then, we've been working through the I'm a sex worker and I'm okay with that. Almost there. Almost there.
I am so proud of you right now. I did not think you were going to bring that up on the show. I was like, wow, you go, girl.
Yeah. So having seen what this activated, how much fun I had with the various people playing, yes, I am now part of the dungeon team.
Oh, wow. She just admitted that. She didn't tell me. She hasn't really owned it. This happened right now. Live. Oh, well, welcome to the team.
Thanks.
And we'll talk about what that looks like after we get off the show.
Yeah.
Surprise. Surprise for me. Surprise. Although Madame K is going to be over the moon.
I know. Hey, Madame K. She predicted it.
She did. So I'm really proud of you all the way around. Like, just like you've really leaned in, and as somebody who's been along the ride with you, it's just been incredible. And full disclosure, when we first became friends, she wouldn't even let me talk to her about sex.
No, I didn't want to hear about the sexcapades. I didn't want to hear about sex. Stop. No, I was totally triggered.
Yeah.
Totally seriously triggered.
Yeah. I mean, she did well of trying to not be judgmental when I was talking about my sexcapades.
Almost.
She did well in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But it was very clear that I was not to poke and prod about her sex life in any capacity.
No, we're not going there.
And I have to say, I'm very proud of myself because I would never do that. I would have poked and prodded. But I felt like at some point when you were ready, because we'd leaned in and you leaned into so many other places, that I knew that there would be this one day where you'd be like, all right, I'm ready.
Yes.
And it happened.
I
was so happy. I was like, yeah.
And now I won't shut up about that.
Now I can't take her anywhere. She's like worse than I am. Everything's, oh, it looks like a penis. Oh my God. Sex. Penis.
Make it up for last time.
That's true. So I'm really proud of you and your continuing evolution, and I am excited for what you're going to bring to the world of helping people open up into their sex power, their sexual magics, their surrendering, their self-acceptance, all the pieces that you now have activated within yourself that you will be able to help activate with the world, for the world.
That's it. Because it is, for both of us, there's this piece of like, we do our own work so that we can take people on the same journey, right? So I can only take people as far as I've gone.
Yeah.
Well, I continue to push myself every single day because I like this.
Yeah.
Strange.
Crazy. I know. We're this extreme personal growth junkies.
Extreme personal growth masochists. I think.
Yeah. Okay. So would you like to push and prod at me now, or are you done? What do you need? What do you want?
I don't know. I like it being all about me.
I know. Last show was mostly about you too.
Was it?
I think.
Well, I got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have some interesting shit going on. What of this do you feel comfortable sharing?
Okay, so the piece I want to share is that let's start about so I've been working through and overcoming and managing major anxiety. Actually, that's what I want to talk about. And this time of year, so for listeners who listen to this not when it's actually airing, it's October. It's coming into October. And I have, with my background of sexual abuse and satanic ritual abuse, this is the worst time of the year for me, basically the fall. And so every year I go into this hibernation mode, survival mode, healing mode, just really bringing everything in to basically survive. And this year I'm like, I'm going to conquer. So I kind of switched a little bit out of the survival mode into the conquer mode, which makes it more difficult in all fairness, because now I'm not just using my coping strategies to survive. I'm leaning into how am I going to thrive? How am I going to conquer? How am I going to look at stuff? So I've had to look at a bunch of stuff, really uncomfortable, but I'm doing really well with it. And, I have all the things set up for success. I have, this is the time of year that I see my therapist / guy his name is Nate, who helps me with neuroplasticity. So we're rewiring, deep rewiring of the brain neural pathways. So I had a session with him a couple of weeks, so we can deal with my nausea, my puking from anxiety response, fear response, triggered response. Which, by the way, is going really well. In case you're wondering, it's going very well. I've had a lot of things come up that would normally make me puke my little brains out, but I have not. So yay me. Yay Nate, yay me, go team, go. And Dana, of course. Dana's been a crucial part of the team over the years of helping through this time and through this process. Also, this time of year is really hard for the people around me because they don't always understand what I need or how they can help me. Most of the time, it takes years before I allow people in. Me and Dana were actually having a conversation yesterday about, she's like, you're doing really good. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, tell me why. I don't really feel like I'm doing that great, but tell me why. And, she shared like, it took basically 3 years before I actually let her in at this time of year. And that was a really good reminder of why it takes me time to trust. It's like I said, it's severe trauma I'm talking about. And so there's a lot of stuff around trust and safety and also being able to have the people closest to me to have the skills to handle it. Because having somebody to just call and to be in the crisis with is not supportive for me. It doesn't help me. It doesn't encourage me to heal it or move through it. It just keeps me in the trauma loop. And everything I do at this time of the year is to pull me out of a trauma loop. So the closest people sometimes can have a really hard time, because if they don't have that skill, they kind of get cut off. They do get cut off at this time of the year. And then I resurface as I come out of the cocoon of healing as this beautiful horny butterfly ready for slutty Xmas. And all things horny and sex related around my birthday, leading into slutty Xmas. But this time of like from the middle of September till November is a time where the closest people that I either have built the rapport, that know how to navigate with me, get to be interacting with me, and everybody else kind of gets put on the outskirts until I'm ready to be back to my normal self. And so I know that it's hard for others around me, but that's just what I need to do to take care of me. And that's, I think, the biggest piece for me this year is been, I need to choose me, because if I do not choose that this is what I need, I cannot not only survive this time of year, but thrive. Yeah. And in past years, in relationships in particular, where I didn't choose me because it was really hard for the people closest to me, and I tried to let them in and do the things and all that kind of stuff, it wasn't just 6 weeks of me dealing with my stuff. It was 4 months of me dealing with my stuff, because I couldn't have the time or the energy or the space to do what I needed to do for me. And so that's the other beautiful piece that I've learned over the years, is that that's just the way it is.
And I think there's something really beautiful in that I want to showcase, is that, that piece of when we allow ourselves to be really honest with ourselves and say, this is what I need, and I'm really going to take the time, then the healing process is faster.
Yes.
So denying it, ignoring it, trying to shove it down, trying to, make it so it's comfortable for everybody else, prolongs the agony.
It does.
And I think that's the piece that I see, with my clients, that there's like this, they just, they're trying to make it good for everybody else. But in doing that, you actually make it crappy for yourself and for them, because it becomes long.
It does. It does. It's like, when I think about the years where I didn't do this, basically very strict, like there's like 3 people that get to spend time with me basically during this time: Dana, Nate, and Master, because he's been in my life for 27 years. So yeah, he knows how to deal with this at this time of year.
Yeah. He's learned.
But everybody else, for the most part, get no real contact, and people who I really love and that I really adore and are, great. And I love them. And it has nothing to do with my love. It has nothing to do with my ability to how important they are to me. It has nothing to do with that. It's about me taking the time. And then I go in, I work on the stuff. I come out. I do come out in November, and I come out great in November and ready to rock and roll and be sexy and playful and all the things. Like last year by November 17th, which is my birthday, I was able to do my normal, like, I'm going to have 47 orgasms on my birthday adventure. And it was easy. It was not hard. I was not triggered. There was no things. But in that, like I said, in past years where I did not take the concentrated time off from clients, time off, period, to work on me, it's like I could be going into February and still being in a constant triggered state, trying not to be triggered, having panic attacks, having anxiety, having night terrors, being terrified to leave the house, all of those things.
And if you were someone that was prone to like drugs and alcohol, you'd be abusing.
I would be abusing drugs and alcohol, but unfortunately my body won't let that happen. So that's never been an option. Right?
Yeah.
But that's what that would look like and has looked like in the past for me. You know, before I had some coping strategies that, you know, like smoking was a great coping strategy.
I'm so glad you quit.
Being a control freak also used to be a great coping strategy. Yeah, I'm not quite the control freak.
You have let go.
I am not even remotely much of a control freak as I used to be. And cookies. Cookies were also a coping strategy. Food was food and sugary food and cookies. Oh, I miss cookies. Oh, what I wouldn't do to have a cookie right now. Anyways, so
you're in for the sex, but we're like cookies.
Cookies. Oh my God. Refined sugar. Oh my God.
Oh my God. If only, if only I could.
Yeah. But without those coping strategies, I'm left with to look at what's left there to heal. And as uncomfortable as it is and how much it really fucking sucks, it also gives me space to look at it so that I can heal it and I can reclaim it and I can embrace.
And then each year gets easier.
Each year gets easier and gets better.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe not so many people get kicked off the island during this time.
So if you've been kicked off the island, stay tuned. Next year might be better.
That's right. Next year might be better. Right? You may not get kicked off the island. Maybe you get put on a boat that's close to the island. I might lunch back on the island.
Can I get kicked off the island next year?
Nope. Sucks to be you. You're a permanent resident of the island.
I'm like, maybe I want to get kicked off.
It's so funny. Actually, that's actually a funny statement. It's like, but there's a true statement there. Both her and Master's like, no, I don't really want to be on the island. And the people that kick off the island are like, please let me on the island. I'm like, you know, the people who are on the island want to escape the island. You don't want to be on the island. The island is not the place you want to be on right now.
It sounds like a great place to be, but the reality is it's crazy town.
It is. It is.
But I would not stay if you weren't continually improving.
Yes.
If it wasn't a matter of each year, I could see a definite growth and change.
Yeah.
I you know me, I'd just be like, okay, you're not changing. I'm out of here.
Yeah. And that's a really important piece is that each year I do lean in. Each year each day of my life I lean in. So this is just like, okay, what am I leaning into this time? And we've already done one of the things I've never done before is you know, which is a really wonderful, successful
Let's
experience.
save that for the October episode.
All right. So you'll find out next time. The last thing that I wanted to share about honesty.
Should I be afraid? I'm thinking I should be afraid.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
Is that I am really incredibly grateful that I've had Dana as my honesty buddy, basically. Our accountability honesty. I know you hate that word, but our accountability honesty buddy. Where we really call each other out on each other's shit when we don't even want to hear it. There's so many times when we're talking where it's like, I want to fucking hear what you're going to say. and the other person's like, I know you're not going to want to hear what I have to fucking say, but I'm going to say it anyways. And then the other person's like, fuck you, I hate you. And the person who said the thing is like, yeah, I know, that's okay. Carry on. All right. But it still needed to be said.
Yeah.
That relationship, our relationship has created a deep embodiment of this practice of radically honest in a way that I've been able to talk to partners, lovers, friends, coworkers, in ways that I would have never done before, because I would have been terrified of the loss, the breaking the rules, that politeness thing that we were talking about earlier. All of these things, I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be able to ask for what I want. I wouldn't be able to negotiate for what I want. I wouldn't be able to advocate for myself the way that I can advocate. All of that is because of our radically honest practice. It really is.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's instrumental in the growth process.
It is.
Because it shortcuts it. Like you say, so many times it's like, you're talking, I'll get a download. I'm like, oh, don't make me say that. Are you going to make me say it? You're going to make me say that. You're going to make me say, oh, that's just so awful. And then it's like, okay, Gaia, yeah, I got a download for you. You're not going to like it. And then, invariably, and it doesn't matter who it is, because it's like, I hear you say that, I'm like, oh, fuck off. Like that's the first reaction. Fuck off. No. All right. Now I'm ready. And it's pretty much that fast. It's like, I need
to say, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
There's something in being able to say, fuck you. And the other person knows that there's that process of, okay, you just need to get that out.
Yeah.
And then you're going to lean in. And I think there's a huge gift in that whole being able to say all of the things, lean in. And I think I completely lost my train of thought.
Probably the point that I think you were trying to make.
Don't try to read my mind.
Was that the freedom in being able to speak your truth about receiving somebody else, the truth, I think is the piece that you're trying to say. Is that like just because there's two folds, right? There's the person who's about to say something that the other person's not going to like.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the person who's about to receive it. So I think that's what you were trying to get at, is the person who's trying to receive it is also allowed to say, fuck you, I don't like this.
Yeah.
And all right, now I'm ready.
Yeah. And it's permission, right? Is that being honest, because I think that's a way of getting ourselves ready to, okay. So first of all, because I think this is where you and I are very similar in the rebel personality. And as a more rebel personality, I have to initially say, fuck you.
Yes. I
have to initially say, no, I'm not fucking doing that. And then I'll like, well, maybe you're right. It's a wiring within me. And when I'm allowed to do that, then I can lean in.
Yeah.
But when somebody doesn't let me go through that process, when they don't recognize that that's just an innate part of like how I need to move, then it stops it. Yeah. And I get stuck in the resistance.
Yeah. That's true, actually. It's very true about you. Yeah. It might be true about me. I don't know. I haven't really looked at that. Okay. I don't really know if I'm always a first initial no, fuck you, and then a yes, or if it's like a 50-50. I'm not really sure.
We'll make some notes and get back to you.
I gotta start. I've never looked at it, so we'll have to collect some data.
Okay. Stay tuned for the October episode.
Collecting the data.
Or November. We might need data through. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think that's a really beautiful piece, is that it's not just the delivering of honesty, but it's also giving the person that you are being honest with allowed a reaction. They're allowed to react. They're allowed to feel what they're feeling. Mm-hmm. They're allowed to even disagree with you. Mm-hmm. They're allowed, the allowing part is the crucial piece of it. Absolutely. And there's been many a times between the two of us where it stops. The conversation at that point will stop. The truth is given. The person's like, fuck you. Yeah, I know. And I'm not going to look at it. And there's been times both of us are like, yeah, we're not going to look at that.
Yeah, I'll get back to you.
And the other person's like, okay. And that's it.
Yeah.
I don't have to push the issue. No. I don't have, because it's not about me.
And that's the other piece, right? Is that there's a respect of boundaries.
Yes.
We've talked, we've spoken, we've said, okay, this is what I need. And I think also there's a layer of, I know you're going to circle back to it. Like if you say no or I say no, we're going to circle back to it.
Yeah.
But it's okay to say no. It's like, yes, I get it, but I'm not ready to look at that right now.
Yeah.
It's okay to not have to deal and process with all your shit all the fucking time, because, you know, there's a lot there. You don't have to do it 24/7.
Yeah. But even, and I think this is a really important piece, even if the person that you're giving the truth to is most likely never going to circle back around to that thing, it's still important to respect that boundary.
Absolutely.
That's something that it's taken me some years to grasp and to learn and to respect. Because I felt like, well, you're not looking at the truth. You have to look at the truth, that you need to look at the truth. You're not safe if you don't look at the truth. Like, there's been a whole bunch of stuff on that piece for me. And the reality is that it's not my business if somebody, my role is to share truths and then allow people to look at it or not look at it. And once I share that truth, my part's done.
Yeah.
And here's another even you want to move from a place of consent and ethics, you don't have a consensual, non-consensual relationship like Dana and I do. We already made that agreement a long time ago.
That was not a good choice.
Is that it's even important to say, hey, I have something to say to you that you may not like. Is it okay for me to share?
Yeah.
And I think that's also an important piece of, like I said, unless
we ask pretty much every time. I can't even think of anywhere we have not asked first.
Between you and I?
Yeah.
Are you talking? We never ask. You're a liar.
Yes, we do.
We don't ask.
Well,
no,
we ask in the, you're not going to like this.
Yeah, that's not an asking.
It's not?
That is not an asking. That's so this is happening.
That kind of like, ouch is not a safe word.
Ouch is not a safe word. Like, that's not asking. That's this is going to happen. Brace yourself.
Oh. All right.
Yeah. So
implied consent.
Which is the whole consensual, non-consensual relationship that you and I already have. Right. But with others, it's important to actually ask them. So I have something that you're not going to like to hear. Would you like to hear it?
Can I tell you?
Can I tell you? All right. Anything else before
I think we've this has been, I think maybe they might be bored of, well, no, they can't be bored of us.
No, really never.
Nah.
Okay. Love yous. Bye. Till next time. Don't forget to do all the things. Go see the wonderful, go to GaiaMorrissette.com to find out all about the memberships, all the other things. And how do they spend more time with you, Dana?
Book an appointment to talk to me. So book dana.in.
Okay.
And we'll talk.
All right. Okay. Till next time, stay honest.
And have fun.
Have fun. Oh, yeah, see, you put your glasses on.